okay, and get that across to a graphologist like myself. And we can tell you some of the traits there that we feel help you guys, makes you guys more compatible, because compatibility is key in longevity of relationship from our assessment.
Right.
So we're not going to tell you whether or not you should marry the person. That's not for graphology to determine. But it can tell you whether this person is a little bit aggressive, this person is more introverted, this person is more extroverted, this person is the shy type, and all that.
Right.
So because those areas at times are not really well discussed before people go into relationships. So these things come up later on, and the marriage is, hidden for the rocks. It doesn't necessarily have to be. If you can understand people better, you can understand where they are coming from and why they behave the way they do.
In terms of significance to the nation, can graphology help in productivity?
Yeah, so if you say productivity, there are several areas of productivity. So the educational sector is, an aspect of, productivity to the nation.
Okay.
The legal system, or the criminal investigation aspect, is also an important area.
So can it help in terms of security or insecurity, as the case may be?
Yeah, so that depends on how well the security architecture of the country embraces this. So if we have the police being trained in this area, for example, okay, so if we have the law enforcement agents adopting graphology as one of the tools that an average law enforcement agent should be abreast of, I think that will help them better profile people. So profiling is, sometimes goes wrong because the essentials that should be put, is not really embraced. Outside the country, you find out that you don't get to any police station without having a thorough profiling. One of the tools they use there is graphological assessment. So can we say, even though this person is believed to have committed a crime, but what else can we find out in this person's personality traits that can validate whatever he did or invalidate it? All those things help better decision making generally. So those are some of the areas we're looking at.
Okay, then. So graphology is something that is very, very needed. That's what it means. But as a graphologist, or which course will I study to become a graphologist? Let's start from there.
So you don't have to. I mean, I studied pharmacy. I'm a pharmacist by
training.
Yes. So, but somewhere along the line, I ventured into this. Graphology is something you can learn expressly if you take it seriously. Within 1 year, I'm sure you will be interpreting people's handwriting and with some level of accuracy.
All right. So it's only specialists like you that can pass this knowledge. We do not have any institution out there that.
Yeah. So there are
in Nigeria.
In Nigeria, because graphology is relatively new, so there are a lot of things that are being put together. In our own establishment, we train people. We have different courses: basic, standard, and certification course. We have students who have gone through the basic course and the standard course, which is why we're also making it available to HR managers and guidance counselors to have a basic knowledge about handwriting analysis, which is also graphology.
All right, so for someone who listening to you right now, I'll be wondering, so if my ward or my son, my husband trains as a graphologist, where can they work?
Okay, so and that's part of the areas where can be a little bit challenging. So for someone like me that is more like a pioneer, I've had to brace through the challenges of finding my feet in the graphology world. So you get to some places, you submit proposals, and they're like, we're not really familiar with this. So I wouldn't say right now that if you train as a graphologist fully, there's a particular company that is going to embrace you or admit you because you're a graphologist, because a lot of people don't know about that. So, but your creativity has to come into place right now. Some people, just by you interpreting handwriting, you get paid for that, and you get paid handsomely for that matter too.
Okay.
So you can make as much as 50K in less than 5 minutes if you know what you are doing as a graphologist.
Okay.
So of course the awareness has to pick up, and that's why we are doing what we are doing gradually. Maybe institutions will embrace this much more,
right,
and graphology will be a mainstay.
Okay then, so Dr. McJob or Dr. Wright, understanding people the right way, the New Year template. So let's take that to the next level. How can we understand people much better this year? What are the things that we need to put in place?
Okay, so first, I'll mention that handwriting reveals, there are certain things that the handwriting doesn't reveal about you, and there are certain things that it reveals. Like I said, I'm going to be giving a book out.
Okay.
So for those of you listening out there, particularly if you're in the HR space or you're a guidance counselor, just try and pick this so that, let's see, you just might win a book.
Okay. All right. So what are the things that graphology can reveal?
So graphology can reveal your intelligence, how intelligent you are. Okay. It can reveal your drives and motivation, what drives you. It can reveal how you cope with stress, your fears and defenses. It can talk about your emotional outlay, whether you are very impulsive or you are the calm type. It reveals also about your social aptitude, how social is this individual, right? So it doesn't reveal your gender, it doesn't reveal your race, it doesn't say anything about your religion, and it will not talk expressly about your future, whether or not you are going to steal money. It doesn't talk about your nationality.
So it doesn't know if I'm in Nigerian or not.
It doesn't know whether you're hosting side mirror.
No. Does it talk anything about your sexual orientation?
Yes, it does. So,
okay.
And that,
so it can reveal that.
Yes, it can reveal your sexual energy, and that's one area that finds relevance when we do relationship compatibility. So you don't necessarily have to test, do a testing of the...
Yeah, like some people say testing.
Yeah, no testing microphone level.
Okay, so graphology will be able to tell you this is the drive of this person.
Yes, you have a lot of drive in this area. And depending on the zone of the handwriting that appears. So, the handwriting is your energy distribution across, your body. And those things are represented in the alphabets. So depending on which letter of the alphabet we are looking at and we're analyzing, it can reveal where the energy concentration is, whether it's in the upper zone or the middle zone, the lower zone. The lower zone level, is the part that has to do with sexuality, not just that alone. But when we are looking out for the libido energy, that's where we go to. Okay. And from certain things we look out for.
All right. And I'm just curious here. So some people will be wondering, how come you're able to just look at the handwriting of somebody and then you can now begin to interpret the character of that person, or perhaps you can begin to tell the personality? What's the connection? Yeah,
so that's where the science comes in. So it's the same way, a doctor will look at a prescription or a pharmacist will look at a prescription, and what is written there is bis inde, BID 2/7. You understand? That looks like, again, that looks like gibberish. But so a pharmacist, when you see BID 1/52, that is saying 2 times daily for 1 week. You understand? So if you don't go to school, you won't know what that means. If the prescription is showing 5/7, the pharmacist understands what the doctor is saying. For another person out there, you don't know what they are saying. That it means 5 days. So, there's nothing to it. It's just being trained. When you are trained in that area, then you can look at somebody's handwriting and you can understand them the right way. And that doesn't exclude anybody. Your children, your spouse, your co-workers, people in your office place. For managers in the work environment, I always advise that you need to understand all of them the right way, the WRIT way.
Right.
Because they don't all have the same wiring. So if this person is more of the one that will submit the proposal or the report early, then from the handwriting you can know that person that is not going to submit that report early. If you give an assignment to 4 of them, you should know the one that will submit faster than others. The graphology can give you those insights.
So you can tell the intelligence quotient of people?
Yeah, intelligence quotients. And in terms of even the submission time,
right,
you can have an idea of who will submit
who will work faster,
who is more organized, and that can be extrapolated into a lot of things. Somebody that is very organized, there are certain things you find consistent with him or her. So, and those are little things. One aspect of graphology, which I feel a lot of people are not leveraging, is landlord-tenant relationship. I'm sure
Landlord-tenant?
Victor, you find that interesting, right?
Yeah. So tell me, what's the connection?
Yeah.
Here?
So as a landlord, and I'm hoping that maybe somewhere this year I might be able to do some of
the
trainings for during landlord association meetings and the rest. So for you as a landlord, it will be interesting to know that one of the things you can request for is the handwriting sample of your prospective tenant, because from there you can have an idea of who will not pay for the second year.
You do,
and that sounds very funny.
It sounds very weird,
ridiculous. But I'm telling you, I've used this at least 2 times during my professional career, and it was found to be so that this person only paid for the first year. Subsequent years, it was stories. But you can pinpoint some of those things ahead of time, in the handwriting, and that is amazing. So it's an amazing tool.
Are you saying now that the handwriting can tell your disposition towards finances?
Yes. So one area we look out for in the handwriting when we get a sample is the dynamics around figures. I can't go into details of that on online, but we look out for all the figures inside that handwriting sample, and there's a way they appear that tells us how that person even manages money, whether this person is a good money manager or this person is a spendthrift. Those things, spill out, from graphology. Graphology is an amazing tool, honestly.
It is. But the way you are describing it this morning, it's very obvious that there's a whole lot. It's very, very wide, and people can gain a whole lot from it. All right, Lagos Traffic Radio, that is 6.1 FM. Dikwa McJob, Dr. Wright, is taking us to the classroom this morning as we seek to understand people the right way. The New Year template 2024 is here, and there's a way we need to make use of tools like this to ensure that we have a good ending.
Yeah, Victor, one area I forgot to mention is in the area of medicine, medical practice.
Okay.
Right now, and interestingly, there's a pharmaceutical company that our organization trying to partner with this year.
Okay.
One aspect that is novel right now, which graphology is trying to spearhead, is something I call graphopharmacy.
Okay, what's that?
Graphopharmacy. So before now, you get to a pharmacy and you tell the pharmacist there, I'm feeling this way, I'm feeling that way. Okay, get this drug, whether it's an over-the-counter drug or you have a prescription and you get a prescription drug. So we are saying now that there is a proactive approach to healthcare management, such that from the handwriting sample of an individual, you can figure out that something is wrong with that individual. At times, well ahead of when the symptoms are manifesting.
So from the handwriting, you can see.
From the handwriting, and from which zone in the handwriting, you can figure out that there's something wrong with you in your lower zone, and that lower zone includes your, the legs area, the leg area. So for a pharmacist, you can say, okay, why not go for a medical check? Perhaps you're having arthritic condition and all that. I mean, it is that big right now.
I'm curious because the handwriting won't change. I mean, if I'm normal, the way I am right now, I'm very, very healthy. And if I give you a handwriting sample, to the time when I'm even coming down with fever or something, if I give you a handwriting sample, it won't change. So how come you're able to identify if there's going to be any difference?
Yeah, so and that's the beauty of a graphologist, in being able to figure out some of these things. So one of the things that would reveal that there's an issue is tremor in the handwriting. So when you look at the handwriting sample and you see tremor widespread, homogeneously, there is something fundamentally wrong with the person's health. All right. Apart from the fact that an average person that you see a tremulous writing, is somebody that has Parkinson's disease. All right. So, but it's not only somebody that has Parkinson's disease that has a tremulous handwriting.
Okay.
Somebody that is having a challenge health-wise. there is a way the tremor will manifest in the handwriting sample
That you'll see.
that will help us know what exactly is going on. Now, it might not necessarily narrow it down to what particular disease condition, but it's going to tell us that something fundamentally is wrong with this individual, for which he has to do a medical check. And that is the biggest new stuff right now, in 2024. It's called graphical pharmacy.
Okay.
That's something we are trying to pioneer.
Okay, then Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. Dr. Wright in the building, Dikwa McJob, and he's giving us some new trends, especially on how best we can understand ourselves in the year 2024. All right, I've got a very, very small quiz for you. And of course, if you want to connect with us right now, feel free. 08099120777. Taking you through the Ojo Yanoba corridor this morning on the Lagos Badagry Expressway. I understand free flow in terms of vehicular movement from Agbara Constop's checkpoint down to Yanoira. And Yanosash is also very, very good to go. Vehicular movement is looking pretty good from Afromedia down to Yanoba on both the service lane and the main carriageway. Ascending Yanoba Bridge inwards mile 2, we have it slow. This is due to activities of the commercial drivers, while underneath the bridge is very, very good to go for now. Free flow of vehicular movement as well from Vokes down to Barracks. That's on both the service lane and the main carriageway. And then movement is also very much in good form from Trade Fair underneath the bridge to Abuliado on both the service lane and the main carriageway. So still looking pretty good. We have few tankers that are sighted on the road right now and no major breakdowns even as we speak. Okay, so if you want to connect with us, or perhaps you want to ask Dr. Wright, Dikbo McJob, any question, feel free to do so. And if you also want to send in a few handwriting samples, which we'll be able to look at later, you can do that as well. 08099 120 That's 0809 912 0777 and 091 53 877127. All right, so here's my quiz now. Dikbo McJob talked about what the handwriting, or perhaps what graphology can do and what it cannot do. So I need you to just write 4 things that graphology can do and 4 things that graphology cannot do. There's a book here which is very, very rare. It has not been, I'm sure nobody has come across this. That will give you a whole lot of tips on how you can understand things and concepts, especially from the handwriting perspective. Okay? I'm sure none of you would have come across this, but if you can do that, send it in quickly, or perhaps give us a call right now. Let's decipher all of this. What are some of the things that graphology can do and some things that graphology cannot do? Okay, you can just list them for me right now. Perhaps give me a call. You'll get this prized possession, okay, which is right here, right now. Okay, so do that, and we'll see how that goes. 08099120777 Those are the numbers that you can connect, or perhaps send in your WhatsApp messages, and we're going to take that right away. Hello there. Hello. Okay.
Yeah, I think somebody sent a handwriting sample.
Right away.
Yeah, Emmanuel. All right, so if I get it, you wrote, we don't depend on da 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 da.
Okay. So
it's not really a proper handwriting sample, but I think what you want me to just do is to do like a mini assessment on this, which I would. So the first thing I can see is that Emmanuel, you're a very fast thinker. All right, so you can be a little bit impatient. Okay, so you need to take care of that. Because you are somebody that processes information very fast, that can get you to be impatient. That's the reason for that.
Okay, he's a fast thinker.
Yes, so
and that could draw some levels of impatience for him.
Yeah, impatience for you. So the other thing I can see in your handwriting is that occasionally you tend to miss out details.
Oh.
Okay, so you need to pay attention there.
Okay.
But generally, okay, so in terms of your social skills, yeah, it's not bad, but you don't have too many friends. Yeah, so these are basic things I can see in handwriting.
Okay.
There's another sample that came. The person wanted me to analyze, in terms of the graphopharmacy aspect.
Yes.
So, but that will require me using some other tools, so I can
You
get
can do
back
that
to you.
right here now.
Back to you. But from what I can see here, just from the basic I can see here. Okay, so let me try and use the magnifying glass in my phone.
Okay.
To do that. So from the basics, I can see here.
Right.
The upper zone, is clear. For the middle zone, that's where I will require the equipment. Your lower zones are okay. All right. So again, like I said, I would need to take this, to my lab,
to your lab,
to get a thorough analysis for you.
That's for graphopharmacy.
Yeah. So John wrote on a road paper, and for those that have been following this trend, most times I don't analyze anything that is on a road paper, because that will limit me from assessing your progression.
Okay.
So if you want also analyze, write it on an A4. If you write it on a road paper, I cannot check the optimism or the pessimism. That affects the.
Okay. So Olawale
is also a road paper.
Oh, okay.
It's also a road paper. But is this one of Olawale? Yes. Yeah, Olawale has a lot of energy. Wow. Has a lot of energy, very aggressive. Aggression doesn't mean something terrible, okay?
Right.
Sometimes when I say aggressive,
it means lots of energy.
You have a lot of drive, Olawale, you have a lot of drive. I can see that in you, and you are a very analytical person. Okay, you are given to figures. Things have to appeal to your rational thinking before you have a buy-in. Yeah, so those are basic things I can say. Okay, you need to pay attention to your temper. You have a little bit of, temper tantrums out there.
Okay.
Okay, so those are basic things I can say.
Wow. All right, then. So these are some samples that have been sent in. But I still need you to answer my questions so that you can win this book.
So that I don't take this book back.
All right. So just 4 questions. I mean, very simple. Or you can just attempt now.
Victor, do we limit it to one aspect?
Okay, 1 or 2. All right. So what are the things that graphology can do, and what are the things that graphology cannot do? Okay. If you heard Dr. Wright earlier on, he talked about what the handwriting can reveal and what it cannot reveal. So if you can just mention some of those things that it can reveal and some of those things that it cannot reveal, then you go away with this book on the program this morning, okay? Let's see how we do that. 08099120777. We have very limited time left on the program. Hello there.
Good morning, Mr. Victor.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is Dr. Musari.
Hey.
And to your guest, I say good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, I think from what you recounted, yes, at least I can say that the driveness of a person, at least you can determine through your profession. Then now analytical in terms of thinking,
okay,
on the part of a person.
Okay.
Then whether the person is aggressive or not.
Okay.
At least it can also be determined, by a profession.
Okay.
Then then also you mentioned that ladies who are probably looking for husbands or something,
okay,
the handwriting. At least you can know whether that spouse will be somebody that one can comfortably live with. That is not somebody that is likely to be a wife beater at home or something like that.
Okay. What about the things that it cannot reveal?
Yes, he said that whether the man will be a good husband or something. I think I heard him saying that in as much that they can talk about, the state of mind of that person, that you cannot say whether that person will make a good husband,
right,
or so.
Okay, let's leave relationship. Let's talk about what the graphology cannot reveal. Do you remember what he said about that? The thing that he cannot tell you.
He also, I remember he also mentioned that between landlord and the tenant relationship, at least from the handwriting, that the landlord can determine whether this person is likely to pay 1 year, and after that he may start giving excuses after the payment of that 1 year.
Okay.
But,
all right, Dr. Musari, I think you've had a good attempt. Just listen. We'll tell you if you are right before the end of the program. Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, Dr. Busari is,
I think you really made a lot of attempts.
Yeah, well, we'll see. 08099120777. What is it that graphology can reveal, and what is it that it cannot really reveal? So, the handwriting, that's the science of handwriting. What is it that it can tell you? From what Dikpo McJob has, talked about this morning, you can let us know. Hello there.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
What's your name?
Pastor Harold.
Pastor Harold, where are you calling from?
Egbeda.
Egbeda, all right. So, are you ready for the quiz?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, so what is it that graphology can reveal?
They can reveal whether you are introverted, whether you are social, whether you are you have anger.
Okay.
They can reveal traits and temperaments to an extent. They can reveal if you pay your landlord for a year and stop paying.
Okay, so what is it that you cannot reveal?
They can reveal if you are going to be a thief.
Okay.
They can reveal certain criminal tendencies. They can just reveal your dispositions and moods.
Okay. All right. Dr. Wright?
Interesting.
What do you think?
Yeah, so I think we'll take another person before we know.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Just listen, Pastor Harold.
Okay. Yeah.
Listen on your radio.
So for clarity, so that Pastor Harold mentioned something about whether or not that graphology can reveal somebody that will not pay. So it is not exactly. Graphology will reveal how disorganized
this person is.
So
and that will make him take your decision that
if you are disorganized in this area, you'll be disorganized in other areas.
All right.
So that's the whole concept.
All right. So it's not necessarily that he might be able to pay or not to pay. All right.
Okay.
All right. Another handwriting.
Then somebody that sent John.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. Quickly.
What does John want? So John wants us to analyze the handwriting, I guess. So John is a very high goals, setter. Okay, he has a lot of optimism. Okay, that's the first thing I can see here. Quite an organized fellow. What else am I saying?
Okay, let me just take this because there's some comments that are coming in. This one says, "Good morning, sir." It says, "Good morning. Can graphology reveal a person's mental health status?"
Oh yes, absolutely.
Frank from Agbara is sending that one in. Okay, can do that?
Yes.
This one says
depression is one of the areas we use graphology to.
This is an answer. It says graphology can reveal your stress levels and organizational levels. It says graphology cannot reveal your gender. This is from Tijani.
Okay, who mentioned that? Who mentioned gender? Somebody go
Tijani Lukman.
That's only one
out of the. Okay, so but I think in taking this home this morning, we have just one book, right?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe it might go to Dr. Busari, most likely.
I think Dr. Busari really gave a lot of insights.
Yes.
We probably might just.
Okay. All right. So Dr. Busari, congratulations. You are the winner for this morning. Pastor Harold, I really would have loved you to win, but just that you couldn't give me what graphology cannot reveal. But thank you so much to all of you. Dr. Wright will be back someday. He's going to be doing lots more in terms of training. So
yes, and give
quickly,
this year.
Yes, so quickly, how can they connect with you after this program?
All right, so
quickly.
So you can you can follow me on Instagram at Dipomacjob, DIPOMACJOB. You can follow me on Instagram. Right. Then you can send a chat.
Right.
You can send a chat to 08039308226.
All right, 39308226.
If you're interested in doing anything along this line.
We'll leave it at that for now. Dikpo McJob, thank you so much for being here.
Right, thank you.
Okay, then. So that's how far we go. Big ups to Mike James, who has produced the program this morning. And, of course, to our social media team, by Mishodunke and others. We say a big thank you to you. Our executive producer is Tayo Akonle. My name is Victor Oteri. I'm out. Bye for now.
Good morning. Here is the news at 10. First, the highlights. Lagos State Building Control Agency tasks staff on improvement of service delivery. NNPCL urges Nigerians to disregard rumors of possible fuel hike. On the foreign scene, African Union, United States appeal for calm in Ethiopia-Somalia rift. And in sport, Nigeria's women's senior volleyball coach Samuel Ajayi unveils 12 players for African Games qualifiers. Now the details. I am Dele Agadumo. Lagos State Building Control Agency, LAPSCA, has charged staff to improve service delivery towards the seamless achievement of set goals and objectives. LAPSCA General Manager Bolahon Oki gave the charge during the agency's first work day celebration and prayer session of the year in Ikeja. Oki commended the staff for a job well done in 2023, urging them to up their game for greater achievements in the new year, as the reward for good work is more work. He reiterated the importance of building true love amongst the officials for a better working environment and seamless job performance. Oki also urged the staff to give more attention to their health and well-being through periodic medical checkups to be organized by the agency for workers to ascertain their health status, while proper medical attention will be given to those that need it. Also, the Lagos State Surveyor General, Ayokuno Adeshino, has charged staff of the office to be diligent, dedicated, and ensure a positive mindset to achieve the vision of the state government as enshrined in the Themes Plus agenda of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's administration. Adeshino, who spoke during the first workday prayer and Thanksgiving session held at the office's auditorium, emphasized the importance of ensuring regular health checks, saying that health is wealth. He said there would be a continuous capacity building training tagged Building Capacity for Resourcefulness for members of staff to entrench efficient service delivery. The Surveyor General encouraged all staff to remain committed in all assigned tasks, noting that this year the office will learn from previous challenges and effect corrections for better results. The Trade Union Congress, TUC, has urged the federal government to implement all agreements reached with the organized labor in 2023, especially the national minimum wage. TUC President Festus Osifo said this in his New Year message jointly signed by the Secretary General, Nuhu Toro, in Abuja. The union stated that a new national minimum wage must be negotiated, implemented, and if further delay in the year, arrears must be paid. It urged the governments of state and federal levels to stop the unnecessary tradition of taking loans. Now to the rest of the stories. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, has declared that there is no plan to increase the pump price of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol. Chief Corporate Communications Officer Olufemi Shuneye urged Nigerians to disregard rumors of a possible hike in petrol price and shun panic buying. Some Nigerians had expressed fear following the revelation by oil marketers that the cost of petrol should be around 1,200 naira per litre if it was not being subsidized, considering the costs of the commodity in other climes. But the NNPCL insisted that there was no more subsidy on the product, stressing that it was now recovering its full costs on the importation of PMS into Nigeria. Meanwhile, the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, says its members cannot afford to purchase 45,000 litres of petrol due to the removal of fuel subsidy by President Bola Tinubu. According to a national ex-officio of IPMAN and former chairman of the association in Ogun State, Surajuddin Bada, oil marketers currently contribute money to buy 45,000 litres of petrol and share among themselves. Bada says before May 29, 2023, a 45,000 litre tanker of petrol used to cost below 9 million naira, but now costs 27 million naira. The National Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, says it has not approved new electricity tariffs for any of the distribution companies, DISCOs, within the Nigerian electricity supply industry, noting that they require its approval before increasing tariffs. Its spokesperson, Usman Arabi, urged Nigerians to disregard news reports about new electricity tariff coming up from 1st January 2024. There have been media reports that DISCOs had concluded plans to hike electricity tariffs in the new year. Meanwhile, some Nigerians say they had noticed an increase in the amount they pay for electricity lately. Now to foreign news. The African Union, AU, has joined the United States in appealing for calm after regional tensions soared following a contested deal between Ethiopia and the breakaway region of Somaliland. Somalia has vowed to defend its territory after Monday's agreement, which it described as an aggression and a blatant assault on its sovereignty by neighboring Ethiopia. The Memorandum of Understanding gives landlocked Ethiopia, Africa's second most populous country, long-desired access to the Red Sea through Somaliland. AU Commission Chair Musa Mahamat issued a statement appealing for calm and mutual respect to de-escalate the simmering tension between Ethiopia and Somalia. In our sport, ahead of the African Games qualifiers in Lagos, head coach of Nigeria's women's senior volleyball team, Samuel Ajayi, has named 12 players as the team battles to pick up one of the tickets for the event in Ghana later this year. The 2024 African Games qualifiers are scheduled for January 4 to 8 at the National Stadium, Lagos. The team aims to qualify and win a medal after missing out on podium finishes since 2003. Ajayi has opted to mix experience and youth with a roster featuring 5 regular players, 5 under-21 players, and 2 under-17 players. He selected Ijoma Wabi as captain, while Jumai Bitrus is now assistant captain. Meanwhile, 22 players are now in Super Eagles training camp in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, ahead of the AFCON 2023. The trio of Francis Uzoro, Al-Hassan Yusuf and Umar Sadiq are the latest rivals. Super Eagles media officer Babafemi Raji says Victor Oteri will arrive this morning, while William Troost Ekong is expected at midnight. The team held a training scheduled at 9:30 a.m. UAE time and will hold another session at 6:30 p.m. UAE time. That ends our news at 10. Just before we go, stay alive. Make use of pedestrian bridges where available. You can follow us and like all our various social media platforms: X, formerly Twitter, Lagos Traffic 961, Instagram, Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Watch us live on Facebook, Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. On YouTube, subscribe and watch all our previous programs and news on our channel, Traffic Radio 961. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration deployed traffic lights and CCTV cameras in strategic places in the state? You can get more details on the Lagos State Government website. To end the news, are the highlights of the major stories. Lagos State Building Control Agency, LAPSCA, has charged staff to improve service delivery towards the seamless achievement of set goals and objectives. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, has declared that there is no plan to increase the pump price of premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol. We also told you that the African Union, AU, has joined the United States in appealing for calm after regional tensions soared following a contested deal between Ethiopia and the breakaway region of Somaliland. And in sport, ahead of the African Games qualifiers in Lagos, head coach of Nigeria's women's senior volleyball team, Samuel Ajayi, has named 12 players as the team battles to pick up one of the tickets for the event in Ghana later this year. For contact with the newsroom, send a message to Lagos Traffic Radio at lagosstate.gov.ng. That ends the news broadcast compiled by Adirayo Idowu Olaiya. I am Dele Agadumo. Good morning. Thank you for listening.